Hi there. Thanks again for joining us for another week of our free 8-week webinar series. My name is Ellie Borden. I'm an author, registered psychotherapist, and the clinical director and founder of the Mind by Design coaching and psychology clinics. I am so proud of the therapists on my team. And tonight we have Neeha back, and she'll be discussing self-esteem for girls. Now, a mom of 2 girls, I can truly appreciate this, and I know you will as well. Neeha, without further ado, take it away. Everyone else, stick around because I always have some bonuses for you.
Hello everyone to this webinar conducted by Mind by Design. I am Neeha Perani and today I'm supposed to talk to you all about a very well researched topic, that is self-esteem. And in relation to young girls, are you wondering why young girls? Based on the work which I have done as a counselor, I have realized that the caseload which I used to get for self-esteem work has shown gender difference. Additionally, researchers and studies have shown that young girls and adolescent girls tend to have low self-esteem and negative assessment of their ability and capability when compared to young boys. So today I take this honor to talk to you all about self-esteem to all my young viewers out there, and also the parents who are watching it to help your young girls to boost their self-worth and self-esteem. So today I am supposed to talk to you all about what is self-esteem, why it is important to have high self-esteem, and research around self-esteem, and also I will be sharing your strategies to boost your self-esteem from inside out. Additionally, we'll be also talking about why inside out. What does inside out really mean? Are you just wondering, is this webinar for you? It's for you if you always second guess yourself. If your inner critic is so mean that, always talking to you that you can't do this, you are not perfect, you are not, in par with others, etc., etc., etc. If you fear judgment, if you keep playing small and you hide yourself under your shell, and if you really want to become strong, if you want to stand for yourself and rock, then this webinar is definitely for you. So let's do a small assessment before we go inside to understand what is self-esteem. On the screen there is a 4 statement which I have shared along with 4 different categories whether you agree or disagree to the statement. So whether you strongly agree, whether you disagree or strongly disagree. So let's read it together and try and just ask yourself whether you agree or you disagree to the statement. I wish I could have more respect for myself. I certainly feel useless at times. I feel I do not have much to be proud of. At times I think I am no good at all. Take a while, just sink into the statements and identify whether you strongly agree or disagree to the statement. And if you have selected strongly agree or agree to at least 2 or more statements, then this webinar is definitely for you. So let's understand when talking about self-esteem, what do we really mean? Very important thing to understand what self-esteem is, because most of the time we don't understand what is self-esteem and we rely on something else to build a self-esteem. So self-esteem is very important and plays a very vital role, which we will of course explore later in this webinar. But self-esteem is nothing but your own opinion of yourself. It's about how do you feel about yourself, how do you feel or how do you put your high value to your worth. What do you have your internal thought going in process? That's self-esteem. Self-esteem is your opinion, not the opinion of others. It's not something that others will define. It's not because, oh, my teacher told me that I am a stupid. That means I'm a stupid. Or if my friend says me that I am ugly and I'm not capable to be a part of drama club, then I am not good enough. No, that's external thing. What self-esteem is, How do you place your importance? How do you, or what do you feel about yourself? So always remember, my friend, that it's about your opinion, it's not about others' opinion. So when we try and run behind others to improve your self-esteem, it's not going to work, because that's going to be very fragile, because you won't have control on others, how people feel, how people talk, but you have control about your own opinions, your own thoughts. And that's what inside out approach is, which of course we'll go in detail. So why it is important to have a high self-esteem? Some people say that it's okay, whatever I'm going through, it's okay, it doesn't make a difference to me, and I don't want to change anything. I'm happy with the way I am. I don't want to just move out of my comfort zone. But it's very important to understand that self-esteem plays a very vital role. It's key to your success. The way you think about yourself, the higher the self-esteem you have, the higher the success will you receive, because you are in position to stand for yourself, assert for yourself, and also build good relationship with others. So if you have high self-esteem, you will have feeling of confidence, feeling of pleasure, you have sense of optimism, you feel happy within, you feel contentful, that you are happy, satisfied with what you are doing, and you are not just running behind people to get approval from, and you feel secure and worthwhile. At the same time, while you are demonstrating yourself, standing up for yourself, you are able to have a better relationship, because you are able to communicate. You are not scared to talk. You're not scared to share your opinions, your feeling to others. And that's where you are able to have good relationship after all. So look at it, how important self-esteem is. It really plays a vital role. If you want to be happy, because the moment you have low self-esteem, you criticize yourself, you kind of sabotage yourself, you're not able to go forward, you were not supposed to achieve what you want, and always there will be, oh, okay, I cannot do it. It will be a sad result, and ultimately that won't give you happiness, that won't give you security. So it's very important for all of us to understand how important your self-esteem is. I know all the young girls who have low self-esteem want to do something, want to prove themselves, and this today webinar will definitely focus on how do you stand for yourself. How do you improve or boost your self-esteem from inside out? So researchers have shown that there is, of course, a gender difference when it comes to self-esteem when you compare girls and boys. But additionally, it also talks about that your self-esteem is something which is not stagnant throughout your span. It keeps on changing from your adolescence to young adulthood and midlife. So that means we all have a chance to work on your self-esteem. If you are a young adult or in your midlife, you still have an opportunity to work on your self-esteem and feel good about yourself. And that's the webinar all about. Giving you the resources in order to help yourself feel good. So always remember the definition of self-esteem when you're talking to yourself, your inner self, that nothing matters. What matters in your life is your own opinion of yourself. Is about what opinion, what do you think about yourself is really very important. And that's what inside out approach is. Inside out approach is like building you're constructing a building using a frame which is internalized, your own ability, your strengths, what do you think about yourself when you're building that structure. And that structure will be strong because it's not rely on external factors. Most often, young girls, adolescents, everybody, and even I have gone through that phase, that we kind of, evaluate ourselves based on what other people talk. What do my teachers say about me? What do my friends have an opinion about me? Whether my friends are saying that am I beautiful, whether is my friend saying that I'm intelligent and I can work out things very better. Do my teacher think I'm stupid or smart? I am relying on external clues, external resources to build my self-esteem. And I think that's where we all go wrong. Because that type of self-esteem, as I said, is very fragile. Because we cannot have control on others. We cannot control and dictate them. I want to feel this, so you say this to me. No. And that becomes so dangerous. Because there will be a time in your lifespan when you will not get that approval from people, how much ever you do. And once you don't get your approval, your self-esteem comes down slowly, slowly, and slowly, and then you don't feel worthwhile. And all your issues, whether you have relationship issues, academic issues, starts from there. So, but if you're able to have a strong thought process, strong belief about yourself, you internalize that, who are you, what do you think about yourself, and talk and try and find out who am I, and talk to yourself and find out who am I, will give you a stronger base of self-esteem. And that is independent self-esteem. That's not dependent on others. That's not looking for approval. That's not wasting your time for hunting for approval, pleasing others, doing things for others. But when you do that, are you happy? Just ask yourself. In the process of just impressing few bunch of people out here, few bunch of friends out there, or your teachers, are you feeling happy? If answer is yes, how long do you feel happy? Is my second question to you. It's for the set amount of time, and then it vanishes back. And again, then we have a need to again, please someone else in order to get that attention, to get that feeling that, oh, look at me, I'm so cool. But then again, there comes a zero, and again you have to start pleasing someone. So it goes on and on and on. And think about how far you will go when you are externalizing your self-confidence or self-esteem. There will be a point where it will not be in your control. So it's better when if we learn ourselves at this point how to build a self-esteem using your own self, by using your own thought process, internalizing it to yourself, and from there boosting your self-worth and self-esteem. So that's how you have your charge. That's how you take charge of your life and your self-esteem, and you don't rely on someone's approval. That's inside out. So, what are the strategies to help yourself grow from inside out? There are many strategies available, but today I will be focusing on 3 main strategies which I think has worked with my client. So one is know yourself, and second is fight your goblin, and be self-compassionate. So these are the 3 main ways at which I have seen my client progressing and developing their self-esteem in a very positive manner, and also in a very desirable way, and not by depending on others. So what exactly is knowing yourself? What does knowing yourself means? You'll be wondering, I know myself, what are you talking about? I know who am I know my name, where do I stay, etc. But what do I really mean over here is knowing your strengths. Knowing what are you value of. Knowing what do you deserve. What are the qualities that you have in yourself. Most often, we are so busy talking about our weakness, talking about or improving our weakness based on what external people think. When we're just, competing and trying to improve our, negatives into positive and weakness into strengths. And we forget that we have strengths too. And that's when you feel bad about yourself, because you're working so hard on your negative or your weakness, and you don't realize that you have strengths with you, which you overlook, because that's what society is telling you. You have to work on this thing. But we forget to talk about what are your strengths. So we are putting all our energy, all our efforts in, enhancing, changing your negatives, your weaknesses, by forgetting your strengths. And when you're working from inside out, you have to also acknowledge what strengths, what talents, the knowledge that you have inside you. And many of my clients, there are students and young girls who come to me and say, oh, nothing, I'm not good at anything, I'm not capable, I am such a, pullover, that, I cannot be creative, I am not, uh, smart enough to have conversation, I don't score good marks, I don't do this, I don't do that, and the list goes on. And when I ask them about their strengths, they really pause, and there's a dead silence in between. And they're just trying to, go deep inside in the subconscious mind to, dig inside what are my strengths. And even though if they're able to say it, they will only see me one or two strengths of them. And that's the sad part, because that's how we are building our self-esteem. We are just looking at what people are saying to us and forgetting to realize what do we have inside. We all have a treasure inside, and that treasure is yours. And you can use that treasure to improve, have a better life, and also enhance your weakness based on your strengths, and not to sideline your strengths. And when you are talking about, I say my clients, when you want to think about your strengths and you're not able to do so, there are many activities and there is a raw material for identifying your strengths. And that is your talent. Think about what talent do you have? Think about what knowledge do you have? Think about what are you expert in, or what do you love to do, and also try and describe your adjectives that describe you. So when you are able to, have this answers to each point of your 4 pointers which I have shared to you, you're able to generate so many information about yourself. And when I have seen wonders when I talk to my clients and when I sit back, of course it takes time, it's not an easy job. But when I sit back, it takes a time to formulate, identify each, part of it, each raw material of strength. But when they are able to identify and put them into sentences and paragraphs, I have seen such a huge satisfaction in my clients' eyes. And they say to me, I didn't know, that I'm capable of doing this. I was not aware that I have done or achieved so much in my life. That's when realization comes that I have too much things. And that's where your spark of self-esteem is lighted up. So when you have free time, take this opportunity and take this pointer to draft. First identify words for it, and then just go and make sentence. And after that, third step is elaborate on that sentence. If you have said that my talent is, art, make a sentence that I am, I do variety of arts, and full stop. Then you explain or describe the variety of arts you do and with what precisions you do. Because when you describe in precisions that, I am able to do origami, I'm able to, I am good at brush painting. And while doing brush painting, I keep, my eyes on what I really want to do it. That means you are being meticulous about what you want to do. That means you're paying attention to the details in your surrounding while painting. And by doing that, you have, you explore how do you paint. Okay, it takes time because I have to make a dry layer first and then redo it and then enhance it with the third coating. I'm making a, details on the top of the whatever I have, painted. So ultimately I need more precision. I need patience. So imagine when I'm describing a particular thing, a talent, I am going deep inside and I'm exploring more and more. And when my clients, make sentence like this and then I highlight, see what have you written? In that one talent, they're able to identify more than 5 to 6 strengths in them. That they are patient, they are creative, they are attentive to details, they are, very efficient in doing a particular task in a particular time. That means, and so forth. Every detail, try and explore, and then sit and jot down. Use describing words. Use adjective to describe, and that's when you will be able to identify your strengths and list them. and you will be surprised to know that you have abundance of strength in yourself. And when people talk to you about it, try and talk about that strength to others. That's how you can build your self-esteem and start, lighting up that candle in your life. Here is an amazing activity which I would like to, share with you all, which also helps you identify your strengths. Of course, many of you all must be aware about this activity, that is building a chain of your strengths. So there are many PDF available online, and few things I've also listed for you all. Identify, which of those categories or statements resonates with you, and try, make a, chain out of it. One quality, one strength, and one band of, chain, and then link it. And every time you explore, do this activity, you will see that you will keep adding that chain or that piece of chain to your main chain. Keep it visible, have a, visual chart of it, or, if you have this, thing design, you put in somewhere that you can see, you can read it. The more you are able to also visualize will also help you to boost your self-esteem, because that's in front of you, because you have realized that you have that strength. And when you at times look at it and remind your brain that look, there is something new that I have, your brain is getting registered. New, neurons has been found. There are every time you send a message, we are learning something. So when you are sending a message to your brain that you are creative, you are self-motivated, you're optimistic, you follow direction, or whatever your strengths are, how small, how big, does it matter? Try and build this chain of yours. If you don't want to make chain because you think you have outgrown that age, use a visual charts for yourself. Have a nice, a blackboard or a reminder visual board for you where you decorate it, and every time you realize your strength, try and jot down on that. And this way you will, whenever you pass that place, you will look at it and you will realize, what do you have? What treasures do you have inside you? So I'm damn sure with this exercise, you will be able to feel that, spark in yourself, that you have the capacity to rely on yourself. Think and explore. So with that, let's do a small activity of you to understand how exactly we can train our mind. What can you see in this image? Take a while. Are you seeing a vase? Or are you seeing a two-face? Definitely, our mind is trained to look a particular image in a particular way. Somebody must have seen a vase. Somebody has seen a two-face first. And when I said that, what are you seeing? You're trying and focusing on the picture more and more to identify the other part of it. So if you focus on the white thing, you see a face. But when you focus on the black thing, you see a vase. That's how your mind is. There is always two things to a situation. There are always different parts to the same, destination. But we choose a particular path to go and, reach that destination. That's our choice. That's how your brain has been functioned. And that's where you have to understand that it's our mind who is continuously talking, is continuously telling you what is right, what is wrong, where to go, where not to go, based on the learning that we have. And when we're talking about learning, always remember, anything you have learned can be unlearned. So with all the experience, with all the thoughts which you have, you are making a pathway in your brain. You're making a networking of your brain that this is, this is strong, because every time you experience, you have a belief that you are not capable. You are firing that, impulse whenever things happens. For example, that you appear for exam and you didn't get good score, then you are saying that, look, you're not capable. You're not able to do this also. Or when you give an audition in your college for some role or some club and you don't get selected, that's where you say again, okay, look, I'm not capable in this also. So what are you doing? You are taking your belief, and trying to see whatever is resonating with it. So if you want to feel good about yourself, you have to change that belief, that perception about yourself. And how would you do that? Is fighting your goblin. This goblin is that masterpiece which has been made from many years, which has been learned from many occasions, that you are this, and this. And if you want to change that pattern, you have to change your perception. You have to change your fight with your goblin inside your mind. And that, remember that when you talk about habits or changing something, learning something new, researchers have shown that you require 26 days approximately to learn a new behavior with practice and repetition. So when you want to fight this goblin, and remember this goblin has been learned behavior, learned thought of yours, which is linked to your emotions and behavior. So ultimately, when you're fighting this goblin, you have to practice and be consistent in fighting that goblin, at least for 26 days or more than that, in order to change what have you learned and unlearn it and give a new direction to your brain that, okay, now that my perception is not that I'm capable, my perception is that even though I'm not good at particular things, I am capable of doing most of my things. The moment you're changing and shifting that, look, and you will experience a drastic change in your surrounding, because that's what you will resonate, that's what you will attract. So how do I change my goblin, or how do I fight with my goblin? It's a progress and it's a process. Okay, it will not happen in a day's time. As I said, it will take a lot of practice, lot of repetition, but you have to change your story. You have to change the story that you have in your mind. That means the story which we have created. And people will come and say me that, the belief system, when they come and talk to me that, I feel that I'm not beautiful, I'm not capable, I am stupid, I am a duffer. These are the stories which they are performing on, or they are, focusing on. So I ask them to change the narration, change the story, identify whose voice is it. Is it you who is talking in your mind? Is it someone else? If someone else, who is this? And you will, when you inspect or go inside in detail, you will realize that belongs to someone else. It's not you. Oh, okay, I'm not stupid. I'm thinking that I'm stupid because XYZ person have told me that. Or my inner critic is saying that to me based on these experiences. So once you identify your story, what exactly your belief systems are, what do you think, what statements do you use for yourself, and then changing it. And while you are doing that, you are doing nothing but exploring your fears. I don't feel confidence in talking to strangers. I don't feel capable enough, or I think that I'm imperfect. I think that I'm not hardworking, and so I cannot participate in this particular thing. Or I cannot take this, program because I fear that I will fail. So while you are choosing or changing your story, you are also exploring your fears, which are in depth in your subconscious mind. And always remember that fear is nothing but, there is an acronym which I have listed in your screen. Is F stands for false, E stands for evidence, A stands for, appear, and R stands for real. Fear is nothing but a false evidence that appears real. Always remember that if you have fear for something, you think that you're not capable of something, doing something, and you're scared, and you put yourself behind, pull yourself behind by doing that, and you are fearful for that thing. Always tell your brain that, okay, this can be a false evidence that is appearing to be real. It is my inner voice, my inner critics who is talking to me. I need to be paying attention more. What exactly is my situation? And when you realize that you're having a self-talk with yourself, because you are changing your self-talk, you are changing your story, and while having a self-talk, you're making yourself realize, okay, Neha, this is something which I am thinking is real. Is it really real? Ask yourself. And then you find evidence for it. If it is a false evidence, you will come to know. If it's a true evidence, you will come to know. If you are able to have a justification, a confirmation from others, not from your internal critics, but a confirmation. Okay, whenever I go and approach people in parties, they always don't like me. Okay, by saying that, what's the evidence for it? Have they told me? No. Has anybody else told me that they don't like me? I think so, no. But I kind of see that they're not interested. Try and dig in deep inside. If they're not interested, how long have you spoken? Is there some other distraction around the party? Try and validate what your fears are. And that's how, when you are exploring, you are putting yourself in a situation, you are coming out of your comfort zone. And this all process requires practice and guidance, definitely. But it's a small step. Start changing your story. Start working on your inner critic and challenge your inner critic by changing the story, changing your belief system, changing your what you are talking, what are you talking inside yourself. That's how you can work it out. So here is a bonus exercise based on whatever I have discussed with you. So how do you do it? Okay, I have given you an idea. I have given you a framework in which you can function. But how do I combat, or how would I do that in reality? So first thing is, there are many things, many ways you can combat that. But I'm sharing you 2 techniques today over here. One is thought catching game. For example, whenever you have a thought, whatever that thought is about yourself, try and catch the thought and try and label it. Is this thought positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? Is this inner critic of mine in my brain? Is it telling me good about something, bad about myself, or having nothing, no good, no bad? It's a neutral thing which my brain is telling me, or my inner critic, my goblin is saying me. So identify it. Is the first step. So once you are able to identify, it will take time. It will take a lot of efforts from your mind to make it obvious or intentionally catch the thoughts, because we are in the process. We are like machine going on and on and on without realizing what our assumptions are, what our thought process are. So if you want to understand it, you have to intentionally try and catch your thoughts. Whenever you have a thought associated with a positive, negative, try and catch it. Okay, just sit for a while. Okay, what is my thought about? Is it negative? What is it telling me? Okay, today I'm supposed to go for dinner with my friends. Okay, is it positive or negative? Oh, it's neutral. Oh, but when I'm supposed to go for my, I think that if I wear this, my friends will think that I'm not so great, I'm not so cool. Okay, how is that thought? Okay, not cool. Is it positive, negative, or neutral? It's negative. Okay, why do I think that? And that's how you are able to identify first. And second step is identify. After identifying, you are explaining yourself. You're trying to have a self-talk with yourself inside your brain, whether your self-talk is positive, negative, or neutral. And if it is negative, you are telling your brain that it's a negative brain talking to me. It's making me crazy. And try and label it. Oh no, it's trying to tell me that I am this, but then I don't think so, it's true. And then you boss it back, and then you tell yourself that for example, a small game for young girls. Of course, you can modify it as your need is, as per your age. So if you're a young girl and you are in your schools, you can say that, okay, this Mr. Meathead, you aren't the boss of me. Mr. Beanhead, you are tricking me again. You never tell me the truth, and you lied to me, and I know the truth is gash. So basically, you are validating, you are acknowledging what are you thinking, you are labeling it. And at last, you are adding a piece, which is the evidence which I'm talking about, which is false evidence or true evidence to it. That, okay, you are talking to me that I won't be able to, secure a grade in math. But you are trying to trick me now also. I have, in my, trial exam or mock examination, I was able to secure good marks. And you are lying to me. And the truth is that I am capable because I have put on my efforts. I have worked hard during, for this math test, and I will definitely get good results. That's how you're supposed to, function. First, catch the thought, identify, then talk to your brain by acknowledging and labeling your thoughts, and then giving evidence which are against it. This is a very simple exercise. Everybody can do it, whether you are young or old, doesn't matter. Everybody have this inner critics, whether you are small, whether you are big, regardless of the age. And everyone have self-talks. And when you have a self-talk, you can talk to yourself and boss it back and argue with your self-talk internally and give an evidence that this is not a true statement which you are making or telling me to do. It's like a monkey in your brain going on and on continuously, and you have to break the cycle. And once you break the cycle over and over again, you are fighting a goblin and you are telling a goblin to be, out of the mind for that particular thing. And you are, building a good new image in your mindset. You're internalizing it, and you're basing your self-confidence with your own self and not on what people think about you. So now going to understand the next technique which can be helpful in boosting your self-image or self-esteem from inside and out. So self-compassion is the key to life happiness according to Dr. Christine, and she has researched this content from so many years and found a conclusion that the way you behave with yourself, the self-compassion that you have for yourself really determines yourself and your happiness in your life by being self-kind, by having self-compassion, that love that you care for yourself. Because what happens when you're externalizing your self-esteem by someone else, you are self-sabotaging yourself. You don't think you're kind enough. You don't have that kind heart. You don't empathize with yourself. You kind of, always have this negative critic going on and creating that, you are just creating a life around you which is so negative. And if you want to work with your self-esteem, boost your self-esteem from inside out, it's very important to focus on self-compassion, focusing on self-kindness, as how kind you are with your friends, the way you are kind and open and empathetic to your friends, to your family, to your siblings. The same way you have to be empathetic and kind with your own self in order to reach that mindful state and acknowledge every bit of your life. And that's when a journey begins in embarking your self-esteem from inside out. So the first is, be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. Talk to yourself in a very kind, loving manner. And you have to be mindful of your own reality. I'm not talking about disregarding your negatives. I'm not talking about dismissing your weakness, but I'm talking about being mindful of it and also be in present moment and not go back into the past or future thinking. Because when we do that, we create more problem and that affects your self-esteem. The moment you go behind the scene in your past, you change your time machine and you go backwards, you are creating more problems. You're creating more self-confidence issues, self-esteem issues, because you are re-experiencing what people have taught to you or told you about yourself. If you're going in future and projecting that, okay, if I will be this way, I will not be able to achieve anything, you're again, not being present, not being mindful of your current state. The moment you're being mindful, self-compassionate about yourself, you acknowledge your weakness. That means I know that, I have seen that I have not succeeded when I have, participated in XYZ things. But I think that I have worked hard and I have practiced the skill set from couple of months and I think I can do it now. And I love myself and I care for whatever I will achieve or whatever result I will achieve. You're being compassionate to yourself. You're being kind. You're not being, a rage person to yourself. You're not being negative, a goblin to yourself, but you are being empathetic. You are showing that you have weakness, but you have worked on it. At the same time, you are not fearful of the result and you accept it the way it will come. Because you have worked hard, results are not in my hands. I cannot, control what people do or think, but I can have control about how do I feel. And by using this self-compassion, you are able to open the doors that leads to more happiness, internal happiness, and internal, security. Because that's when you will not require other people to be a part of it to enhance your self-esteem. So this last thing which I would like to talk about is positive mindset. A cute image which I have received or a saying that is mirror mirror on the wall, I will always get up after I fall. And whether I run, walk or have to crawl, I will set my goals and I will achieve them all. It's very important, while you are practicing self-compassion, while you are talking or fighting your goblin, you have to have that positive attitude towards life. Have a positive mantra which you will narrate to yourself every single day, multiple times in a day. That's when you are able to form a new habit. Unlearn what you think about yourself. Unlearn the thought process which you have and change the way you feel and behave in a particular situation. So, just standing against the, mirror or being wherever you are alone, where you're traveling alone or you are sitting in your car and you have this mantra going on like a recorder, which is like a broken record, which goes on and on without non-stop. And that's when you are able to change your thought process. Pick up your own mantra. Sit and decide what do you want to achieve. And give that positive self-compassion, positive mantra to yourself. That whatever happens, even though I fall, whatever, I will, whether I run, whether I walk, whether I have to crawl, but I will still reach my goal. You can have your own set of mantra which resonates with your thought process in order to motivate you and in order to unlearn the thoughts that you have created, your belief system, and attract more positivity towards yourself and boost your self-esteem. So it's very important to be comfortable in your skin. That's when your whole self-esteem, inside out approach works and operates on, because the moment you are able to feel comfortable in your own skin, you believe in yourself, you are able to rely on your thought process, that's when you are able to boost your self-esteem from inside out. And remember, always question yourself, whatever I'm thinking, is it based on external thing? Is it dependent self-esteem or independent self-esteem? Am I just looking for people approval? Or it's okay people don't approve me, but I'm putting my 100% in this. It's a huge difference. And that will only come when you are feeling comfortable in your own skin. So in a nutshell, what exactly this webinar has covered, I will just give you a small gist of things which you can use as a resource in order to work out and enhance your self-esteem. The one thing is daily list of thoughts. When you are wanting to catch the thought as a strategies, you have to have a diary or a list of things which you are catching. Just write it down, because that will give you visual understanding, and you are able to repeat it also and rectify it and talk to yourself in a positive mantra. Use code words for your negative brain. Whenever something happens, as we were saying, Mr. Mean Brain or mean head, we are giving a code to it. So give your, code word to your negative brain in order to talk to it, have a self-talk. Listen to it. Try and explore what exactly it is saying to you. Explore your thought process, identify and put into categories whether it's positive, negative, neutral. What happened to them, why it is saying to me that way, and then stand for yourself. It's very important when you identify something, you are talking to your bossing to your brain, and then you stand for what you are saying, and then at the same time find the truth within the thought. Evidence, is there any evidence that is proving that my thought process is true or not? That's when you are able to fight your goblin. Acceptance is very important. Self-compassion, accepting your weakness at the same time working on your weakness, and strength is accepting yourself compassionately. And at last, you have to keep repeating it and practicing it. As I said, it takes 26 days to form a habit. And you're able to form a habit only if you are repeating this process. If you do one fine day for 1 week, 2 weeks and done, no, it's a process. It will take time. It will take time to unlearn the things and then rebuild the new neurons in your brain in order to make that belief stronger. And that will require practice, getting comfortable in your skin, and then coming out of your comfort zone and doing it in reality. Okay, if you have issues, many clients of come to me and say that I can, even though I'm thinking positive, I'm able to have mantra, I'm not able to go and do it. So I normally say that you visualize what you want to achieve. You have an image set on yourself that, okay, I will be able to go and participate in this particular thing, or I will be able to talk and to this particular person and make friends. You imagine, you go through it like a dream or like a whole scenario in your brain. You repeat it over and over again. Get comfortable with that idea. Get confidence in that idea. Okay, I can do it. And once you get that confidence, go and implement it in your real life. I know it's hard, but it requires practice, as I said. If you're not able to do it in reality, that's how you can do it. You visualize it first, try and sink into it, and then go and explore yourself, come out of your comfort zone. And this way I would like to end my webinar for today, and thank you everyone to be a part of this webinar, and I hope you enjoyed and was able to learn something in order to boost your self-esteem and increase your self-worth. Thank you so much, Mind My Design, for giving me this opportunity to have a webinar on self-esteem for girls.
Thank you, Neeha, and thank you everyone for sticking around. I'm sure you found that of great value. As always, I have a great bonus for you. Many people struggle to keep their self-esteem high, and for others, it's in conscious effort to maintain it. And at Mind by Design, we always try to develop courses, groups, and therapy sessions around supporting you and motivating you in that regard. So tonight, by clicking the link below, you could be entered to win a free seat at our upcoming Increased Self-Esteem course. So it's coming soon. Click below for your chance to win, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.